Ahead with your question for Coach Sampson.
Kelvin, good morning. Is there anything in specific that you're looking to accomplish with the exhibition? Do you go in with a list, or is it simply the opportunity to compete against somebody else?
No, it's both. We've got to let these young guys play. We're betting that the more we invest in them early, we'll get some returns late. Obviously, they're going to struggle, as all freshmen would, playing against a really good veteran team, especially as well coached as Mississippi State is with Chris Johns. So no, we need for them to be able to see different looks, have different guard on offense that they haven't seen, be able to adjust to going from weak side to a monster, going from monster recovering to the right guy. There's things they've never done in the game. And then get our guys ready for the season. We battled some injury stuff where guys have been out a lot. We've kind of slowly worked some guys back in, but with the season right around the corner, all that stuff's going to have to be ramped up now.
Thank you, Greg. We'll go to Brad Mugger from the Idaho State Journal. Brad, please go ahead with your question for Coach Sampson.
Brad, here. Thank you, Coach.
Go ahead.
Okay. Coach, I'm just curious what your impressions have been so far of Isaiah Harwell, what you've seen from him, and also what your anticipation is for him as far as his role this season. Thank you.
Isaiah was still recovering from his ACL surgery from the previous season. So what was that, 2.5 years ago, I think. And then he came back and played in the some for his for Wasatch, and then played in the McDonald's in April, I think that was. Then he started having some issues with his knee, and so we held him out most of the summer. He didn't participate in a whole lot, so he's one of three. We had three guys that kind of missed the summer: JoJo and Khalifa and Isaiah. But once he's been back, he's steadily improved. He's had some setbacks here and there, but Isaiah's going to play a major role for this team. Isaiah is a really good player. I think his versatility is his strength. I think he's pretty good at just about everything. I don't know if there's one thing I would say he's great at, but I think that's the strength. Some guys are great at one thing, but that's about it. They don't do much else. Isaiah's pretty good at everything. I guess I'm going to be saying this a lot this year, like all freshmen. There's going to be a learning curve for him, but he's a willing learner, a great teammate, extremely high character kid, comes from really good parents. So we're very fortunate to have Isaiah. We're excited about coaching him, and I'm excited about the progress he's going to make this season.
Thank you, Brad. We'll go to Randy McElvoy with KPRC TV. Randy, please go ahead.
Morning, Kelvin.
Good morning, Randy.
I wanted to ask you just at this point, and I realize as the season starts, season begins and everything like that, it'll be evolving. But at this point, through all the workouts leading up to where you are now, is there an area that you're happy with right now? Maybe it's ahead of schedule, whether it's defensively or whatever it might be, or is it way too early to even gauge quite yet what you got?
Yeah, probably way too early. A lot of times your success early in the season will be like we played I think Auburn spent time at number 1 in the nation last year. That was a very winnable game, but we lost it. Um, Alabama, we led most of the last 4 or 5 minutes of that game. They tied it to put it in overtime. Well, we had a chance to win it in regulation, lost it in overtime, and then San Diego State, same thing. So, if you'd asked me this time last year, I would have thought our defense would have been further along. But Terrence, we had so many unknowns. Milo's coming off of nose surgery. Arsenault coming off of Achilles tendon from the year before, and then Jay missing 19 days with a strained groin. So I think a lot of times your success early in the season is how many of your main guys have been able to practice X amount of days in a row. And for us, that's slowed us down. So but we'll see. You never know how a team's going to come together. And but I do know this team's really working at it. They've got great attitudes. They come in every day. Um, there's certain guys you can tell have gotten better from last year. So, we're gonna have to put it together at some point. But I'm anxious to get going and see how it looks.
Thank you, Randy. We'll go to
Thanks,
Chancellor
Kelvin.
Johnson. We'll go to Chancellor Johnson, please. Chancellor, please go ahead.
Hey Kelvin, speaking of how it looks, last year there were moments where your half court offense stalled, specifically when it comes to losing options offensively, like LJ who can create both on and off the ball, and having the option to throw it to somebody like Juwan in the post. How do you envision this year, where you might get some of your offensive production, specifically in the half court?
Yeah. So in 2022. Probably our best low post score we've had here was Josh Carlton. We lost Josh, we lost Tajay, we lost Kyler. I can't remember. That might have been Fabian's senior year too. So that was the main question I got asked, what you just asked me. How are we going to replace Josh? How are we going to replace Kyler? How are we going to replace Tajay? So the next year, we go into the next year, and we got Jarris Walker and Marcus Sasser and Jamal and that bunch. So when that season's over, about on this day, Chancellor Johnson pops up and says, "Coach, you're going to lose Jarris Walker, who's the 8th pick. You're going to lose Marcus Sasser, who's the 25th pick. How are you going to replace those guys? Who's going to step up and replace Jarris? Who's going to replace Marcus? Because those guys were first. One was a lottery pick, one was a first-round pick. How possibly could you replace them?" So the next year we won the Big 12 and lost to Duke. So now, Coach Sampson, you're losing the National Defensive Player of the Year. You're losing the Big 12 Player of the Year. How possibly could you replace him? What are you going to do? And I can go all the way back to Quentin Grimes and Rob Gray and Corey Davis. So my point is, Coach Chancellor, is that I've got a lot of experience in this, replacing this guy or replacing that guy, and who we're going to throw it into. J1's not here. Or how you going to get buckets, because LJ was this and that. He's who are you going to place him with? And I'm going to tell you the same thing I've told whoever asked those questions every single year. We don't have a guy that's as good a bucket getter as LJ. We don't have that calming influence inside where we could just go have a dependable guy like J1. Just like we don't have a guy that looks like Jamal. We don't have a guy as good as him. But the point is that I don't replace players. We just try to make our team better. That's what we've always done. This is a team sport. Um, we try to get everybody to play. And I can't determine what role someone's playing until I've seen them practice enough. I can't go on what they did in high school and determine what their role is here. The only thing for sure is it's not going to be the same. Everybody's role is going to be different. But we're going to roll 5 guys out there. We're going to have some guys come off the bench and play. Um, and you're right about one thing. LJ won't be out there, and neither will J1. We don't have Javier backing him up. We don't have Malik off the bench. Um, uh, Next year, I'm already going to set the tone for you. You're losing Milos. You're losing Emmanuel. You're losing this guy. How are you going to replace those guys? We'll figure it out.
Thank you, Jeff.
I'll see you same time next year. Appreciate it.
I gave you the answers to the test.
Thank you, Chancellor. We'll go to Joseph Duarte from the Houston Chronicle. Joseph, please go ahead, sir.
Hey, good morning, Kelvin.
Good morning, Joseph.
Kelvin, what are Khalifa's strengths and sort of what drew you to him this offseason?
He played 32 games over at Sam Houston State, and he started all 32 games. So I like the fact that he was dependable and available. And when we watched film, obviously we talked to the coaching staff over at Sam Houston, but we also talked to the coaching staffs at the other schools in that league to get what their impressions were. So that's a good league, a lot of really good coaches. So the thing that jumped out to me was now he doesn't have the innate athleticism, the pop, the juice, the bounce that Javier had. But he's a veteran like Javier. I think Khalifa's a smart kid, smart player. He's picked up our stuff pretty good. And just as limited, he had back surgery. I think it was first week in August. So he was out for, I don't know, couple August. He's probably out 6 or 7 weeks for sure. But since he's been back, the fact that he's older, been through some battles, he just had to pick up our terminology. He knows how to do a lot of things. Those guys over at Sam Houston State did a good job with him. So his length, his ability to know how to get from one coverage call to the next, to be able to help the guards. He's a good rim protector, maybe not great, but good. And he's playing with the guy. Just this week, we've kind of had our full complement of guys in practice. So I've been able to watch him play against JoJo and watch JoJo play against him. And then if I want to move CNAC around and watching him go against Chris. So I think Khalifa's going to help us because we're going to really need him to. He's a big piece to our puzzle.
Thank you, Joseph. We'll go to Chris Baldwin with Paper City, Houston, please. Chris, please go ahead.
Hey, Kelvin.
Hey, Chris.
With a younger team, do you have to be more patient? And does practice become even more teaching sometimes with this group?
Absolutely. And I have to catch myself. Kingston this time last year was at Brennan High School in San Antonio. Isaiah was at Wasatch Academy in Utah, and Chris was at Link Academy in Branson, right by Branson, Missouri. So we'd go over and watch uh, Kingston practice, and he played for a good high school coach too. Actually, all three of these guys played for excellent coaches. Isaiah's coach at Wasatch, really, really, really good coach, and the coach at Link, outstanding staff as well. So I think that helps them when they've been coached, um, but they haven't seen what we're doing. And not that they're all like that, but Jamal was playing behind Dejan Giroux when he was a freshman, and there's just what much of an opportunity for him there, because that team was really, really good. With that backcourt was Dejan, Marcus, and Quentin. I mean, it's three pros. That team was going to win a lot of games. This year, with these three guys, you hit the nail on the head. It's just patience. They're not as good as the guys they replaced because they don't every experience they have with our system is new. So the way I would explain it is they know what the black and the white is. Those are the obvious. That's like a true and false. They know that the answer to this question is true or it's false. That's black and white. It's the subjective stuff, playing between the black and the white, the margins, that margin between black and white, and filling that in because I've seen this action so many times. I know exactly where to go. Coach doesn't have to tell me. I you know, we played whoever Ohio State 2 years ago, and they ran something similar to this, so I remember that. That's what freshmen don't have. They don't have um, they don't have a background of which to draw from to be able to make their own adjustment. Whereas um, I'm not even sure we need to do a scout report with Jaywan. He just needed to know, is he left-handed or right-handed? Does he catch and face, or does he do everything with his back to the basket? And then offensively, he just needed to see where the double was coming from. After that, he didn't need anything else. Um, but these guys, I think every game is going to be important. Every possession is going to be important because it provides them with experiences to grow and to learn. And those are all investments that we're going to make with these kids. And I think as the season goes on, they're going to get better and better.
We'll go back to Joseph Duarte, please. Joseph, go ahead.
Kelvin, beginning next Saturday, a new rule goes into effect that allows college students to bet on professional sports if they choose to do so. As someone who's been in the game and seen a lot of things and changes, you got any thoughts on just sort of that and any education that needs to go into reminding players about the do's and the don'ts, and obviously college sports is not allowed to be bet on, but just the professional aspect of it?
Yeah, our compliance department does a good job. We have during our initial um, meetings whether it's in the summer, well, actually summer and um, when practice starts in or semester starts, they come in and do um, uh, they show the do's and don'ts of betting and results, this and that. So our kids get educated on it. Um, but it's just it's funny you asked me that question today, Joseph, because I saw today about Chauncey and Rozier with the betting, and there's our country's constantly changing. Everybody's got an opinion on whether it's good or bad, but I only care about whether or not it affects our kids. But you know, sometimes I don't sometimes I don't recognize what's going on. Betting thing. What is that? What is the rule now that college kids can start betting on professional sports, right?
Right. The athletic, anybody who works in the athletic department or is a student athlete can bet on professional sports, but not college athletics.
Yeah. I don't know what I don't know. I don't have a strong enough reaction to it to know what to say. So, but it's going to make life harder for the people that develop a problem with it. I see gambling as a vice. People can make money off it, so they do it. You just try to protect your guys, but that's probably a question that would be better asked to Eddie Nunez rather than me.
On the opposite end of it, with the people the outside bettors that can do college athletics, you're going to go into now doing the injury reports each game. Does that change things for? I mean, obviously it's more aligned with that, but just does that do anything different for you in terms of how you release that information or what that information is for, basically?
Well, there's release information is in three categories. It's either good to go, he's hurt, probable, or he's a game time decision. I mean, I've always known the answer to those, but some of them really is a game time decision. With some guys with the same injury, you go, no, he ain't playing. That dude ain't gonna play. Another kid goes, he might play. So he's a possibility. Is that one of the choices?
Might be.
Yeah. So I tend to try to make it as objective as I can. But I may say, when do we have to have the thing in? The day before?
I believe that's the rule. Jeff could correct me, but I think it is within 24 hours, I guess, the day before.
Correct.
Well, a lot of kids go Lazarus on you in 24 hours, so we probably should just put possibility. Would that work, or do I need to be more specific?
I mean, we're all day to day.
Yeah. What I'd like to put is none of your business, but I don't think that's one of the possible answers.
Thank you, Joseph. We'll go back to Chris Baldwin, please. Go ahead, Chris.
Kelvin, do you like this current preseason setup of, one scrimmage, one exhibition, or would you like to see more of these charity exhibitions?
It's my choice. We don't have to play one exhibition and one scrimmage. I can play two scrimmages. I can play two exhibitions. I can play none. So the coach chooses what he wants to do. I just choose to play. One year we scrimmaged Texas, and one weekend, the next weekend, we went over to San Antonio and scrimmaged Texas. And then Duke came here and scrimmaged us. So that year was two scrimmages. And then, I always like bringing Montana Tech or UNC Pembroke in for an exhibition game. So one year we did that with both teams. So I try to mix it up. I do think with all the new guys we have in the different roles being played, I think getting out there in your uniform and with referees and putting people in the stands to watch you makes more sense to do an exhibition game, especially with this team. But some teams might be better off doing scrimmages. But I also think about the fans too. When you got a program like ours and there's a lot of excitement to see the new guys, you feel an obligation to, especially to our fan base, because I know that there's a lot of excitement about this group, and I do feel an obligation to put them out there so our fans can see him. So that's a factor with me too, because um, it's a way to say thank you um, for all the great support from our fan base and our students, donors, season ticket holders. Um, they have as much to do with our success as anybody. So being able to give them an early look, I think is a good idea.
Got time for a few more questions. We'll go to Manav Gupta from Houston Cougars on SI. Go ahead, Manav.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, Manav.
So Ramon was telling earlier that he's been improving on his leadership. So what have you kind of seen from Ramon so far, and what can he bring to the team this year?
Yeah, I think leadership um, is knowing when and when not to say something. Sometimes not over 90% of what you say is not verbalized. Like I walk into the gym and I'm not going to say, I've got a kid that I'm working on right now with his body language. I said, son, you're telling me everything I need to know, and you haven't said a word. I just look at you. You're not ready to play today. You're not ready to lead. You're not ready to compete. Look at you. And so I hold him accountable. Here's what I make him do. Then I watch his body language as he's running. And then I react to that. But Ramon's been here 5 years. He's seen a lot of different leadership styles. So and I have so much respect for Ramon because you know there were schools when the season's over, different schools were trying to lure Ramon. He came in and talked to me about it. One of the things I tell our kids, if it's same with our kids that put their name in the draft. If you're not getting a play and you think there's a better opportunity elsewhere, then you have to weigh the pros and cons because you've made a home here. I think a lot of people love Ramon. A lot of people connect with him because he's been part of so much winning. I remember in 2021-22, he was probably maybe was going to redshirt, not for sure, but maybe. But that was when we had a bunch of injuries, and next thing you know, Ramon's playing, and he was a big part of why that team was successful in I think it was 22. And then now this year, he's been a huge asset in his role. Sometimes your biggest role is not necessarily on the floor, it's behind the scenes. And that takes a lot of courage and maturity. And um, Ramon has a bucket full of both.
Thank you, Manav. We have time for two more questions. First one, we'll go to Chancellor Johnson, please. Go ahead, Chancellor.
Hey, Kelvin, just simply, what was your biggest takeaway from the scrimmage from the other night on your group?
We need to get better.
And with our last question of the day, we'll go to Joseph Duarte, please. Go ahead, Joseph.
Kelvin, with another group of freshmen coming in, another class, I'm curious, do you have any fun stories of parents that when they send their kids to you, maybe it's the moms, that any advice, any parting words since they're sending their children to you for the next 3-4 years?
My advice to them?
Or no, their advice or anything that they told you about, maybe the mama saying, about taking care of her baby or so. So just anything that's jumped out about parents when they've sent their kids to you, with wherever you've been in your career.
Yeah, that's a good question, Joseph. But here's the difference now. Most of these kids, like we have we have 4 freshmen. Bryce stayed at home with his mother and father. Kingston stayed at home with his mother and father. Chris is from New Orleans. He spent the year this past year in Branson, Missouri, and these kids probably travel 40 or 50 days in the summer. They're either on planes or buses and staying in hotels every night. Uh, Isaiah's from Pocatello, Idaho, and spent the year in outside of Salt Lake City. Um, so a lot of these kids have already moved out from home, and they've left home. You know, when you leave home, part of you never goes back. You're independent now. Um, but I've had some. I won't tell you who they are, but I've had some others that were on the all-doting team. A couple of them I would say would be the captain of the all-doting uh, team. They didn't. They've been dread. It's one mother said, "I've been dreading this day since I realized he was pretty good in basketball. I knew he's going to have to leave. And Coach Sampson, please, please, please take care of my baby." So I think we've done a pretty good job of taking care of a lot of mama's babies, and we've tried to return them as men, and you know some of the things that the best feedback that we get as a staff is thank you for helping my son become a man. So the journey from one end to the other is a unbelievable journey, and they all have their own journey. It's not a shared journey; it's your journey, and they go from being who they are to being part of something bigger than themselves, and I think that helps them contribute to their family. You know, eventually they're going to have a wife, and if God blesses them, they'll have children, and a lot of the lessons they learn here, and I know this firsthand because I get this feedback a lot. A lot of the lessons they learn in this program, they take with them in their lives, and as a coach, I don't know if there's anything that makes you feel better than that.
Thank you, Kelvin.
Okay.